Now for the final face on my Rushmore, I mentioned him a few minutes earlier, and that would be one Eldrick Woods, otherwise known as Tiger. No athlete in the history of sports has overcome more injuries, has risen above and conquered more injuries than Tiger Woods has. There is no NFL player who has suffered through more injuries and bounced back than Tiger Woods has. And he plays, obviously, golf. I never thought of golf as a contact sport. But Tiger has been hurt more than any golfer ever, times 100. And many of his injuries were self-inflicted. Reportedly, he tore his ACL on maneuvers with the Navy SEALs because Tiger wanted to follow in the footsteps of his father, a Marine who fought in Vietnam. Bully for you, Tiger, but man, did you threaten the prime of your career. Reportedly, you suffered a hairline fracture in your leg while running distance in military boots as a training method. In military boots, they weigh like 10 pounds. You're running distance, I'm talking like 5 miles, 10 miles in the boots. And you fractured your leg. And you, on that fracture, went down to Torrey Pines in San Diego and you won the U.S. Open. Okay, it was only Rocco Mediate in the playoffs, but still, you won the U.S. Open on a fractured leg. Then you ruptured your Achilles, you had neck problems, you had shoulder surgery, you had elbow issues, and you nearly killed yourself in a car crash. I don't know, you were going 80 miles an hour, downhill. According to police reports, you never even touched the brake. I don't know how you walked away. I don't know how you kept your leg. They thought they were going to have to take it. And obviously, I have no earthly idea how, not that much more than a year later, you're in Augusta for the Masters. What? You, Tiger, have willed yourself through more injuries to more victories than any athlete ever that I can remember. Maybe you can dredge up somebody else, but this guy, these are all career-threatening injuries that we're talking about. This man, for about 3 years, dominated the sport of golf the way it never has been dominated and never will be dominated again, I don't think. This man is simply the greatest clutch putter ever. I was a Nicklaus fan. Nicklaus made a lot of big putts, but not like this man. And if you know golf, you drive for show and you putt for dough. Half your strokes are going to be with that flat stick. Tiger hits it like off the golf course half the time. I'm talking about into the wrong fairways, right and left, right and left. I don't know how he does it. Most spectacular clutch shot maker I've ever seen. He's just the drama king because you want Sunday drama? Watch that guy wearing red on Sunday. He's got 15 majors to Jack's still 18, and now I'm to the point where I can't even bet against him passing Jack. He's 46 now. Is he going to win again soon? Majors? I like Brady, I just don't bet against him. Quick aside, quick story. There was one instance in the history of golf that is similar to what Tiger has gone through, and that was the great Ben Hogan. Also, car crash back in 1949, February 2nd, on his way back from the Phoenix Open, driving with his wife in the fog in West Texas. Ben Hogan and wife got head on by a Greyhound bus. And they were both lucky to live. Ben had fractured back, broken leg. Don't think it was near amputation, but he was in a bad way. And I give Ben Hogan this. In just 9 months, he bounced back and actually came out here not far from where I'm recording this, here in West LA. He came to Rancho Park and played what was then called the LA Open and made it all the way to a playoff against Sam Snead and lost in an 18-hole playoff on a Monday to Sam Snead. So that was a great bounce back. And my quick personal story there is I once wrote a piece when I was in Dallas in 1981 about Ben Hogan because I occasionally played golf at a club called Shady Oaks in Fort Worth, which Ben called home. And he had become almost a ghost figure, an apparition to the members at Shady Oaks in those days because he was 68-ish, I think, late 60s. And he refused to putt anymore because he couldn't putt anymore because his hands were too shaky to even take it back. He had the putting yips, and he despised putting because he thought it was way too big a part of golf score. Like he wanted to reduce the impact of putting on golf, and nobody would listen to him. But I saw him one day as I was playing the 18th hole because he was on an adjoining fairway that was unused. It was just an open fairway without a hole at the end of it. And he would hit practice balls by himself with the club dog named Max, back and forth with 5 irons. And they said he would hit like 50 golf balls and they'd be within 5 feet of each other. And I wrote about this ghost figure, this Howard Hughes figure that Ben Hogan had become. And believe it or not, he wrote me a letter. He was distant. A lot of media people thought he was arrogant and elusive, sometimes surly. About to talk about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who was in the same mold. And yet he wrote me a great letter. It was fun and funny and upbeat, and he loved what I wrote, and I didn't think it was that lovable. I thought he wouldn't like it. I thought it wasn't all that flattering, but he did. And the last line was, "Call me anytime you need me." Call Ben Hogan? Nobody in the media calls Ben Hogan. He didn't talk to the media. So as the U.S. Open was returning that year to Marion outside Philadelphia, where Ben Hogan won the U.S. Open following his car crash, in the days you had to walk 36 holes on Sunday to complete your U.S. Open, I thought, I'm going to call Ben, see if he'll talk about that bounce back. And I did. He worked for a company called AMF Voight that he owned. It was Hogan Company. And I got his assistant who just put him right on the phone. "Hello, it's Ben. How you doing?" Nice guy. I told him what I wanted to do, and he said, "I'll talk to you about it, but you can't quote me." I'm like, "I can't quote you?" He said, "If you quote me on this, I'll get calls tomorrow from here to Scotland. Everybody will want to interview me about Marion, and I just don't want to do all those interviews. So I'll talk to you, but you can't quote me." Well, what was I supposed to do? Say no to Ben Hogan? But it's meat before shark. He's going to tell me award-winning quotes about struggling through the 36 holes on a hot Sunday, a humid Sunday in Philly to win the U.S. Open after a near-fatal car crash. And I can't write it? So I said, okay. And I interviewed him, and it was sensational. And I took it into my sports editor at the Dallas Morning News, and I said, "You won't believe this, but..." He said, "Well, is there any way you could write it like through Hogan's eyes? This is what Hogan must have been feeling?" Well, that's just insane. You can't do that. How would I know? And I wrote that. I tried. And it was the single worst column I believe I've ever written in my life. But only I and my sports editor knew it was completely accurate because I got it from the horse's mouth. So that's my Rushmore.
I hope you enjoyed that video. You ready for more? Make sure you click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from the Skip Bayless Show. And don't forget to check out the full episode of the show wherever you get your podcasts by clicking the link in the description.